Hi guys, this is Tsvetan with another Phoenix tutorial, and this time I'll take a look at the Phoenix Ocean texture and see how you can use it together with the V-Ray Displacement modifier. And the image that you see on the screen is a very basic result of that setup, so let's start. For the ocean surface, I'll create a standard plane object, so I'll just create one in the viewport, and I want to make sure that my system units are set to meters, so 1 unit equals 1 meter, hit OK, and I like to keep both the system and the display units the same because it's pretty straightforward and easier for me to work with. So just hit OK and center this to the world, and let's give this plane a size. So I'll set it to 50,000 and let's zoom out. Okay, so this will be the surface of the ocean, and I'll need far more segments for this. So I'll just increase this value. And now I can create a camera. I'll use a physical camera, and I'll just drag somewhere. And I'll place the target in the center of the world. And I'll center it on the X, and let's place it somewhere here, and I'll just raise it just a bit above the ocean surface. So I'll set this to 5 meters on the Z, and if we take a look from the camera, this is what we see. And now I can create a light, and I'll actually use the V-Ray Sun. I'll take advantage of the V-Ray Sky, so press yes, and take a look from the camera to adjust the position of the sun, and I'll set the target to the center of the world and hit render. Okay, so I'll need some material for the ocean, so I'll just open up the material editor and set up some very basic shader and give this a name. Give it a fog color, and decrease the multiplier. Assign the material to the plane. I'll change the display from material to object color so that I can see the ocean in the viewport and have an idea of where it is. And if you render again, you can see I have the ocean, but there are no waves. So I'll add the V-Ray Displacement modifier. It's down here at the bottom. And to get a displacement, I'll need to specify a texture, and that's where the Phoenix Ocean texture comes in. So to create one, I'll open the material editor, right click, maps, standard, Phoenix FD Ocean texture, and let's take a look at the options. The first checkbox is the vector mode, which switches between vector mode and normal displacement mode. And you have to keep in mind that if you are using this with the Phoenix simulator or the in this case the V-Ray Displacement modifier, you have to set the displacement to vector mode as well. And if you're using the Phoenix simulator, you can just go in the rendering, and here under the displacement, make sure that the type of displacement is vector as well. So this will give you the best results. So I'll just delete this, and control by wind speed, it actually changes the texture between two modes, and by default you're set to physically accurate mode, and in this case the height and the speed of the wave are calculated according to the wind speed. And if you uncheck this, you switch to absolute mode, and the height and the speed of the waves are calculated directly from the wave height and the velocity. And I like to keep this turned on because it automatically takes care of these two parameters. Level of detail is very similar to the levels in the noise texture. So if I set this to something low, I will get this blurred image, and if I increase it, I'll get more detail. The wave height is the amplitude of the waves, and when you're in physically accurate mode, like now, this is a multiplier to the amplitude, and if you switch to absolute mode, this will be the final wave height in scene units. So keep in mind this if you switch the texture between the two modes. The level offset, it just adds additional shift to the displacement, and the sharpness specifies the peakiness of the waves. In older versions of Phoenix, it was necessary to change this value depending on if you're using it with the Phoenix simulator or with the V-Ray displacement modifier, but now it's unified, and you can just use it as it is, and it will give you a consistent results with both. The velocity is the speed of the waves, and again, if you're in physically accurate mode, this is a multiplier of the speed, and if you're using it with absolute mode, it sets the velocity in system units per second. So again, keep this in mind. And the velocity coherence controls the wave direction variation, and if you set it to 1, it means that all the waves are moving in the same direction, and if you set it to 0, it means that all the waves are moving in random directions. The seed is just a random generator, and the wave crest is the length of the waves, and by increasing this, you just offset them by the nominal length. Well, these are all the parameters, and to be honest, the only thing that I am changing when I am setting up the oceans is the wind speed. I either increase it or decrease it in order to get the desired look, and in some rare cases, I found that the level of detail might be useful, but apart from that, I think all the other parameters are ready to be used without any tweaking. So I'll just select the plane now and apply the ocean texture, drag and drop over the texture slot, hit OK, and a pop-up appears where Phoenix offers you to set up the V-Ray displacement modifier for you. So I'll just click yes. And what it did, it went through all the necessary parameters that need to be tweaked and adjusted those for us. So you can see it set the displacement mode to vector, and it also adjusted the limits. And the default limits are in the range of 0 to 1, and with the range from 0 to 1, you get waves that are clumped, and in order to be sure that there is no clumping in the waves, you need to raise these limits higher, and that's exactly what Phoenix did. And the only parameter that Phoenix leaves for us is the edge length parameter, which basically specifies the overall quality over the displacement. And 4 is a pretty good quality, but it will require more time to render. And for now, I'll just set it to something higher, like 12, and hit render to see the result. And it's done in 30 seconds. So I'll just try now with the edge length of 4. So I'll set it to 4 and re-render. And with 4 it definitely looks much better, but it comes with its price. From 30 seconds render time, it's now 1 minute. I've also rendered it to half HD, and again with 4 segments, and it rendered in 3 minutes. So you have to find what works best for you guys, and basically this is how you use the Phoenix FD Ocean texture with the V-Ray displacement modifier. I hope this was useful for you, and I'll see you again.